an AC down. Breaker's actually tripped. So in order to reset it, you have to turn it all the way off and then turn it back on. A lot of times people try to reset it halfway and then it just keeps springing back. So we'll see what's going on here. And you have to head up to the roof. Here is the unit, and it is running. So the question is, what happened? All I did was throw the breaker. Nice and cold. I'll pull it and take an amp draw reading. That's really cold. I wonder if it just... this unit. Someone ran the wiring in a weird spot here, and like that. It's kind of sitting on the unit. Silly stuff here. At least that's insulated. Take an amp draw reading. I replaced the capacitors last time. I remember this unit, charged it to proper superheat. Look, it does not have a 5-minute delay on it, so it could just be that the thermostat setting was changed. Let's take an amp draw reading here. Amps AC. Just get one wire in it. The black wire, 15 amps. That's fairly high. See our fan motor, 1.6, 1.5. That's normal. Well, we're live right now. Amps. No, that's on the hold for the. We got 15 amps, so that's a little high on the compressor. Here's the 5-minute delay. Someone disconnected it. Maybe it was malfunctioning. We are running and alive now. I'm going to recommend a new compressor on this one, but it's running. What can you do? Can't read the data plate on this anymore. Data plate's gone, but gotta get off the roof before it gets dark. Good old Palm Springs. See if we can get it going. Back in the mix. just thrown the breaker. What are you gonna do? Could have been that there. You can see where it's rubbed a little bit. So at least now it's sitting on the insulated portion. I don't really like that, but you know, it's not perfect, but we don't live in a perfect world. And it's getting dark and I gotta get off this roof for now, so I'll always revisit it later. And they need a new compressor anyway, but we're alive. And I could just kind of wire tie this cable to keep it moving around. At least now it's not going to move, so that'll keep those there. Perfect, but what are you gonna do? And I just came to the air handler to double check, make sure the door hatch hadn't come open or anything. Everything's okay there. So we're good to go. Okay, well, I'm back the next day and it actually went out again. So I thought I'd check a little further here to see if we have maybe something else going on. Maybe something here. Everything seems okay there. Everything seems okay there. So I think it's that high amp draw that we're pulling. So it's gonna peak, and I haven't reset the breaker yet. Let's take a look. What's going on? Time for a new compressor. You hear the solenoid contactor is pulled in, of course. Yep. All right, I can go reset the breaker, see what happens. Oh, what I was wanting to see is if there was a data plate on the compressor, which of course is completely worn and gone, so I can't even see what the LRA would be. Oh, maybe on the top here. Here we go. It's all dusty. The LRA is right there, 77. That doesn't make sense. There we go. 200 volts, 50, 208. Can't read the darn thing. How does that even make sense? Looks like LRA 7.4. I don't know, it's hard for me to read it. Nope. Look, someone's pulled the crankcase heater. Maybe they thought that was causing trouble at one point. Alright. Well, I can reset the breaker for now and call it in. Have changed out. Change out the compressor. Okay, when you have a breaker that's half tripped like this, you can't just reset it, you see? You have to turn it all the way off and then all the way back on again. Okay, same thing this morning. You just heard it click on. Okay. Okay, started up, no problem. Nice and cold. Very strange one. But we got the high amp draw, so I'm gonna have the compressor changed out. Go from there. So on this one, somehow I got all mixed up and overwhelmed looking at things that didn't matter. And actually what happened was the capacitor had lost its capacitance. And I didn't even check the capacitor, which is what I should have checked. I just saw that the amp draw was so high, along with a couple other things, and throw in the breaker. And the compressor being kind of funny, and so I assumed the compressor needed to be replaced, but actually it was just the 35 microfarad capacitor. I had actually replaced it about 2 months before, or at least thought I had. Might have actually been a different unit. It had gone out. And also it's kind of the nice thing about the job that I do is I fix a lot of things that are kind of beyond the scope of my deal, because a lot of times it's a lot easier and faster for me to just fix it. But so it's nice that I do have backup, and sometimes I can call somebody in when I get stuck. But when I do, I learn everything that I can from them. I go with them, I ask them questions, and I try to pick up whatever I can so that the money that's spent on hiring someone is well spent, because out of it I get a lot of information. And a lot of these guys have a lot, when you're working, specializing in one thing, you're pretty much seeing day after day the gamut of things. Anyway, he also saw the compressor leads, that the leads were worn, and so he replaced the compressor leads. Loose leads a lot of times are what cause capacitors or other components to burn out. So any loose connection is a place for heat to build up. And well, anyway, you can't win them all, and this one was one where you could say that I didn't win because I hired somebody else to come out to look at it, another AC tech, but actually did win in a way, in that I didn't need to replace the compressor after all, didn't need to change it out. That was unnecessary, just the capacitor. So all in all, not a bad deal. Sometimes it pays to hire someone, and sometimes we all get stumped on something, or miss sometimes the obvious. Is sometimes just another pair of eyes is extremely useful. Anyway, part of why I like making these videos, I'm not trying to present myself as being perfect or the super tech or anything. It's just kind of so that we can all learn, and also just kind of documenting my experience and my journey in learning more myself, and passing on what I learned to you, and kind of sharing the experience with you guys. Yep, I should have caught this one. When the tech showed up, and I lowered the temperature down to turn it on, it actually threw the breaker again right away. And then once got up to the roof, well, before getting up to the roof, the breaker wouldn't set, it would just turn off immediately right away. So he was able to look at the capacitor and actually see a bulge. It didn't even need to test it. You could just see the bulge on the capacitor. But that may have not been the case when I was there the following day, because it wasn't throwing the breaker every time at that point. It was only throwing the breaker once in a while, intermittently. But anyway, I figured I'd pass the story on. And the other side of this was after replacing the compressor, it dropped the amp draw down to like 9.99, 10 amps was exactly where we wanted it. So don't need a new compressor after all. And that's good news. And I have lots of other videos showing how to replace capacitors. If that's the situation with your AC, you might check out some of those videos, and videos showing how to discharge the capacitor. It's important to remember a capacitor holds the charge even after the power is disconnected, so you always need to discharge them, and I have videos showing how to do that.
Standing on the edge of death and life, standing in between wrong and right. Light shines down, bring truth. Us will fall. Darkness, day to light. Pain give way to eternity. Just a test, it's a challenge, hurt or just give it all you got. It will pass, it will fade. What you see is different.